Some of America's FA-18 pilots say they are being asked to take greater risks than ever before because aging equipment on the fighter jets, particularly ones that help them breathe, is failing. It appears the life support systems on all versions of the FA-18, one of the most important combat aircraft in service, are increasingly failing to supply pilots with safe, breathable air. When there is a breakdown of life support systems, like the so-called onboard oxygen generating system, OBOGs, or cabin pressurization systems, pilots often experience what the Navy and Marine Corps call physiological episodes. That means pilots experience hypoxia, an oxygen deficiency, and decompression sickness. They can experience dizziness, tingling in the fingers or toes, and confusion. Some have even lost consciousness. Some of America's FA-18 pilots say they are being asked to take greater risks than ever before because aging equipment on the fighter jets, particularly ones that help them breathe, is failing. It appears the life support systems on all versions of the FA-18, one of the most important combat aircraft in service, are increasingly failing to supply pilots with safe, breathable air. When there is a breakdown of life support systems, like the so-called onboard oxygen generating system, or cabin pressurization systems, pilots often experience what the Navy and Marine Corps call physiological episodes. That means pilots experience hypoxia, an oxygen deficiency, and decompression sickness. They can experience dizziness, tingling in the fingers or toes, and confusion. Some have even lost consciousness. When I go flying in combat, what's more likely to kill me is not getting shot down by enemy fire, said one of the FA-18 pilots. It's a failure in my most basic life support system. He added that his feelings were shared by many FA-18 pilots. If you ask 10 aircrew, what are you most scared of? He said, 9 out of 10 would probably say, OBOG's failure or decompression. 2 of these 3 pilots said they have experienced hypoxia-like episodes in the cockpit. One saw an indication of pressurization problems and pulled the green apple, a green-colored ring that has about 10 minutes of emergency oxygen stored in the ejection seat. The other pilot had pressurization problems but was already hypoxic by the time he realized it. He said he basically felt like he was intoxicated. I remember having trouble thinking. I obviously had trouble performing procedures, and I definitely did not have awareness of how much trouble we were in, he said. In fact, he said, his mental state was so impaired by hypoxia that he didn't pull the green apple because he was more concerned about burdening the maintenance crew with the task of refilling the oxygen, than his own life. He landed safely, but that was just luck, he said. The military is aware of the problem. According to a memo Fox News obtained from the House Armed Service Committee, the Navy has noticed a rise in hypoxia among pilots operating FA-18s. In fact, since 2009, there's been a steady climb in such episodes. To deal with the situation, the Navy has installed decompression chambers on 2 of its deployed aircraft carriers, the USS Carl Vinson and the USS George H.W. Bush. The USS Ronald Reagan will deploy soon with one on board. But this only helps pilots who make it back to the ship. The real issue is how to prevent the oxygen problems before they cause trouble. As a Marine pilot noted, his job is an inherently risky business. But, he added, the Navy and Marine Corps should give you a better than average chance. This issue isn't limited to frontline combat aircraft. As first reported by Fox Business Network and Fox News, in April the T-45 aircraft used to train pilots was grounded after instructor pilots refused to fly because of an alarming occurrence of physiological episodes. According to one T-45 pilot, the decision to strike was made in part because they felt the risk was not worth the gain when they were only training and not flying vital combat missions. But that same aviator notes FA-18 pilots need to stay combat ready and, as a result, need to keep flying despite the added risk. Following this pilot protest, Vice Chief of Naval Operations, Admiral Bill Moran, ordered a 30-day review of the episodes involving the T-45 and FA-18, including how the issues were addressed. Moran promised to provide a full and open accounting to our aviation community, their families, and the public. Vice Admiral Mike Shoemaker, commander in the Naval Air Forces, said the issue is his #1 safety priority. "We will not be limited by money or manpower as we diligently work toward solutions," he said. One of the Navy pilots who spoke to Fox News acknowledges the Navy is doing the best it could to address the problem. "One thing the pilots and their leadership agree on," he said, "is that it's a complex problem." A Marine Corps Aviation Public Affairs officer told Fox News that Marine Corps Aviation has seen fewer incidents than Navy pilots, but said its leaders are taking this matter very seriously. Physiological events remain a top safety concern until we fully understand all causal factors. Boeing, the aircraft's manufacturer, said it was looking into the matter. "We are working closely with the Navy to help identify root causes of physiological episodes and their solutions," the company told Fox News. "Crew safety is a top priority for us, and will continue to be a proactive partner on the way forward." The Navy has also been training pilots in simulators with a device that induces hypoxia so it can recognize the symptoms and learn how to deal with them. And the Navy is also providing pilots with portable hypobaric recording watches that may alert them if cabin pressurization fails, as well as devices that measure and record cabin pressure changes for post-flight review. The Navy has also increased the frequency of aircraft inspections. But the precise cause of the growing incidence of hypoxia and other physiological episodes is still not known. On top of that, there is nothing currently in a jet that will detect if pilots aren't getting the right amount of oxygen and then automatically switch over to an emergency supply. So, for now, the issue is identified but unresolved. "The heat needs to come, and I think it needs to come at the highest levels," a Marine pilot told Fox News. "The guys at the lowest levels are working their butts off, and we don't see any change." Fox News correspondent Lee Gabrielle is a former Navy F/A-18C pilot who flew missions in Afghanistan from the deck of the USS George Washington for Operation Enduring Freedom.